Okay, so we're gonna start in a comfortable, hi Liz, good morning. We're gonna start in a comfortable seated position. And the first thing I'm gonna say is if you have a blanket and it's folded up, you can always use your blanket or a yoga block as a little seat. So for some of us, we have different external rotation in our hip joint. So sometimes we find if we're sitting in a crisscross position, if your knees are way up here, a blanket or a block underneath your butt will really make the place a lot more comfortable. And if you get here and you've got the blanket there and you're like, oh, I don't need that, I don't like it, just take it out, put it off to the side. But if you feel comfortable with a little cushion or a block under your butt, get comfortable here, sit up nice and tall. Maybe close your eyes down for a second and just take a couple nice deep breaths. And just give your body and your mind a second to settle into your seat. Get connected with your breath. And then as you start to feel like your body is settling in, your mind is quieting down, and your breath is slowing down, maybe start to notice the floor beneath you. So if you've got a blanket or a block under your bum, you can still feel that solidness underneath you, under your feet. And then can you lift just a little bit taller up through the crown of your head and then let your shoulders just kind of soften down away from your ears. No need to effort it, but just let them be soft. And then do a quick little scan through your body. Notice your physical body. Notice how your feet feel, your shins and calves. Notice how your knees feel, your thighs, your hips, your back, your belly, your chest and your shoulders. Notice your arms and your hands. Notice your neck and your throat. Your face, are you holding tension in your jaw? Can you soften your cheekbones? And then can you notice your sinuses? Can you notice if you're breathing freely or if there's effort in the breath? No right or wrong, we're just taking a little inventory here. And then maybe as you let that awareness come to your sinuses, start to notice the physical action of your breath. So just notice the breath coming in and your breath going out. Maybe notice if one nostril is a little congested comes over the other, or are you breathing freely through both nostrils? And then can you slow that breath down even more? Deepening the breath. And then notice as you start to deepen your breath, where does your breath go? Is your breath in your belly, in your chest, or in your shoulders? And again, there's no right or wrong, but just notice. And then before we move from this place, just take a moment here to set an intention to honor your mind and your body throughout your practice. Never doing anything in your practice that would cause your body pain, and treating yourself with love, care, and respect. Awesome. And then with that intention set, gently open your eyes and we'll slowly start to move with the breath. As you inhale, lift your chin upward towards the sky. And as you exhale, tuck your chin down to your chest, and can you keep your shoulders down and back? Inhale, lift your chin up. Exhale, lower your chin down. Inhale, lift your chin up. Exhale, lower your chin down. On this next inhale, we're going to lift the chin up and hold to find a gentle stretch through the neck and the throat, but let it be soft enough that you can still swallow and you feel comfortable here. And then can you let your shoulders be just a little heavier so you feel a little opening in the collarbones? Take one nice good breath here. Take a good inhale. And then on your next exhale, bring your chin down to your chest, keep the shoulders down and back, and then stay here. Notice the back of your neck. Also notice here if you've discovered any tension in your jaw, can you soften your jaw here? Can you notice the space between your shoulder blades and take one more good breath? Awesome, and then lift your head up to a nice neutral position. Left hand's gonna touch the ground, right hand's gonna reach up. Now we're gonna anchor into the sits bones, lift through the fingertips, and then pull the ribs in. So rather than bending over to the side, almost imagine that you're trying to pull the shoulder down to the hip. So there's gonna be a little bit of a squeeze in the side body, and then lift the fingertips back up, anchor into the sits bones, and then pull it back down, squeeze in at the side body. One more just like that. Reach up, pull down, and now we're going to take it into a side bend. So lean over, go just as far as feels good to you. Allow for an opening in the side body. Take a nice big breath. Beautiful. And then draw a little further into it, either lowering down or pulling the thumb back. Look up towards the sky. Take one more big breath here. Beautiful. And then lift up, release. So now the right hand's going to touch down, left hand's going to reach up. And now we're going to anchor into the sits bones, lift, and then hug in like you're trying to squeeze in the side body. Lift the fingertips up, anchor the sits bones, pull it in and squeeze. One more just like that. Lift up, pull it in and squeeze, and then take it over to the other side for a nice side bend. Beautiful. Take a moment here just to settle in, take a nice big breath. And then if it feels good, either lower a little deeper or pull the thumb back, gaze up towards the sky and take a nice big breath. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, lift up. We're going to take it into a seated twist. So right hand's going to come over to the left knee, left hand behind you. Think about getting nice and tall here and take a few moments here just to rearrange. So if you feel like there's a way that you could get a little bit more comfortable here, a little taller or a little deeper, whatever the case may be, take the time to find it and then take one more good deep breath. Cool. And then when you're ready, unwind and take it over to the other side. Catch hold of the knee, hand comes behind you, and then give yourself a second to get a range. So it might be a little bit of lift or shimmy of the ribs, anything that makes you get a little bit more comfortable. And then once you feel like you've got it, take a nice deep breath. Awesome. And then when you're ready, unwind, come back to center, and we're going to take 3 seated cat cows here. Inhale to lift the heart. Open the chest, lift the chin, squeeze the shoulder blades, exhale, round the back, draw the abdominal muscles in, round the upper shoulders, tuck your chin towards your chest. Inhale, lift your heart, squeeze the shoulder blades, lift the chin. Exhale, round the back. One more time, just like that. Inhale to lift and open. Exhale to round it back. Beautiful. And then inhale to a nice neutral spine. Now, if you've got that blanket underneath your bum, it might feel good to move it out of the way at this point. Or if you're really happy with it, keep it where it is. And you have the room to play with all of your props like you like. But in this easy seated position, we're just going to start to walk the hands forward just a little bit. And then with those fingers nice and tall, pull the ribs up and forward. Just imagine that you're trying to lift everything up and over and then sink just a little bit deeper. And then notice your knees, notice your hips, notice your low back. Take a nice big breath. Pull your belly button in, roll up nice and slow. We're going to lean back into the sits bones, rearrange yourself so that you can just switch the cross in your legs and then get situated again. Make sure everything feels good. Walk yourself forward slightly and then do that again. Pull the ribs up, wiggle them around, make some space for yourself. And then once you feel like you've got a little bit of lift and length, walk yourself forward just a little bit more, sink in, take a nice big breath. And then do a little inventory here. How do your knees feel? How do your hips feel? How does your back feel? Beautiful. And then come up nice and slow. Roll yourself on up. Awesome. And now from here, we're going to send the legs out in front of us nice and long. And then you're going to find your strap or your TheraBand, whatever you've got. No right or wrong with your props here. And if you don't have any props, no worries. Then your hands become your props. So you're either going to hold onto your foot with your hands, or you're going to hold onto your foot with your strap. We're just going to get a little hold of the back of the bottom of the foot. And then just a little bit of gentle flossing of the back of the leg. So it doesn't have to be extreme. We just want to start to feel and notice how the back of the leg is feeling. Create a little space, a little spanks. Create a little space in the back of that leg. Nice. One more good bend and straighten. And then we're going to switch just to the other side. So gently set that foot down, catch hold of the bottom of the other foot. And it doesn't have to be extreme. We just want a little bit of waking up the back of the leg. Beautiful. One more good bend and straighten here. Nice. And then release your foot from your straps. Just set it off to the side. We're going to flip around into a tabletop position. But for anybody who's got mischievous knees or tender knees, now the blanket will come back into play. So you can open it up just a little bit, make it a little bit of a flatter surface, and you'll probably want to keep it on your middle of your mat for most of your practice if we're doing our normal flow class that we do. But if you have cranky wrists, then the blanket might come forward a little bit, and you might use it as a little ramp to put your heels of your hands on and let the fingertips kind of rain off the edge of your blanket. So that creates a lightness in the compression in your wrist. So you're going to find the version that you like best, either under your knees or under your wrists. Take a second to settle into your tabletop shape. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Think about pushing the floor away from you. Pull the front body up nice and strong. Gaze down between your thumbs and take a big conscious breath. Nice. And now from here, we're going to curl both sets of toes under and just find that nice, gentle rocking forward and back, stretching the toes and the bottoms of the feet. Beautiful. Now, the next time you pull back towards those heels, hang out there for just an extra breath. Feel that nice, generous stretch at the bottoms of the feet. Take a big inhale. A little softness on your exhale. Beautiful. And then come up, release your toes right into a puppy pose. Walk your hands towards the top edge of your mat. Lower your chest and forehead down. Make some space for your shoulders here if you like. So if it feels better, walk your hands a little bit wider towards the outer edges of your mat, and then let your shoulders kind of snuggle in and soften down. Now, in this puppy position, can you find a sort of cat and cow breath? Can you think about inhaling, let the chest drop down just a little bit deeper. And then as you exhale, can you pull the ribs back just a little bit and broaden the shoulders? And then inhale, let the chest drop down a little bit deeper. Exhale, can you pull the ribs back and broaden the shoulders just a little bit? One more just like that. Inhale, let the chest drop. Exhale, can you round? And then find that more neutral space and then start to walk yourself back up into a tabletop position. Take 3 cat cows here. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the tail. Exhale, round the back. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale to round. One more just like that. Inhale, drop your belly. Exhale to round. Nice. And now from here, we're going to step our right foot forward into a lunge position, and we're going to square up our lunge. So it's going to be a nice 90-90 lunge, and then see how that blanket feels under the knee. If it feels like it's too wobbly and you don't have enough structure and support, it might feel better to leave it off. But if it feels like it's offering you a good bit of cushion and your knee feels really happy, leave it there. Once you've got yourself set up in a way that you like, you're going to think about anchoring into your feet. So think about pulling that front heel towards that back knee and that back knee towards the front heel. So both legs are nice and engaged. reach your arms up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, you're going to cactus the arms, open the chest, look up towards the sky. Inhale, reach your arms up and almost think about pulling the ribs back. And then exhale, pull the elbows down, open the chest. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, pull the elbows down, cactus the arms. One more just like that. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, pull the elbows down. Beautiful. Now bring your right hand to your hip, left hand reaches up. Take a gentle side bend over to the right. Lovely. And then release everything down. We're going to step that right foot back and switch sides. So rearrange yourself as needed. Left foot steps forward, right foot down on your cushion now, and then square yourself up. So draw that left hip back, heel driving towards the knee driving towards the heel. Legs are nice and strong. Once you've found all of that, inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, cactus your arms. Inhale and reach up. Exhale, pull the elbows down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, pull the elbows down. Beautiful. Left hand to the hip, right hand reaches up. Take a side bend, lean over to the left. Beautiful. Release nice and slow, hands to the ground. Step that left foot back, come back into your tabletop. Take one good cat and cow here just to give a little love to that spine. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail. Exhale, round your back. Inhale to a nice neutral spine. And now from here, we're going to take it back into a child's pose or extended child's pose. So for this, if you have tender knees and they don't have enough space sometimes, taking a blanket and tucking it in between your thighs and your calves can sometimes create a nice little space between, so your knees get a little bit more love. So you're going to play around and see if that feels nice. If it doesn't, leave it off. But if it feels good to make that little bit of space, then start to set your butt back, walk yourself forward, come into a version of the child's pose you like best. Let your head soften down. Take 3 nice deep breaths. When you're ready, nice and easy, start to lift yourself up. If you've got that blanket tucked behind your thighs, go ahead and move it out. And then if you liked it under your knees for your flow or for any of those kneeling down positions, just kind of smooth it out in the center of your mat. Find your tabletop shape again, curl your toes under. And then when you're ready, exhale up to a downward facing dog and take a few good pedals of the legs here. Great. And then when you're ready, look forward, walk, step, or hop your feet up to the top of the mat. Now, if you've got that blanket in the middle of your mat, you just want to walk cautiously or step carefully over or around it so you're not tripping on it and not catching your toes or anything like that. Once you've got yourself to the front of your mat, find your rag doll, soften your knees, soften the back body. Arms are nice and heavy. Maybe grab your elbows and take a couple nice deep breaths here. Beautiful. One more good deep breath. And then when you're ready, relax your fingers towards the floor, bend your knees a lot, pull your belly button in, round and roll up to standing. Roll your shoulders around, down and back, and then give yourself a second just to get situated in your standing position. And then we will use a block for some of our flow here. So if you've got a block, awesome. We'll just start with using one just so that everybody feels like they're mostly on the same page. And if you don't have a block, don't worry about it. Most of the cues still stay the same. So we're going to start by just placing our block in front of us in the tallest setting that you can, or your book, whatever you've got. And then find your mountain pose here. Anchor into your feet, lift up to the top of your head, let your shoulders ground down just a little bit, and then bring a little bit of life into your fingers. And then once you've got all of that going on, if it feels safe and comfortable for a moment here, close your eyes down and come back to your breath. Nice deep breath in. Nice slow breath out. Inhale, just let your whole set of lungs fill up. And even slower exhale. Beautiful. Open your eyes. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, we're going to bend the knees and fold. Hands are going to come to that tall block, and think about that as the floor coming up to meet you. Inhale to a half forward fold, lengthen the spine. Exhale to soften down, bend your knees, pull your belly button in, round and roll up to standing, roll the shoulders around, down and back. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees, hinge at your waist, fold on down. Inhale to a half forward fold, lengthen the spine. Exhale to soften, bend your knees, pull your belly button in, round and roll up to standing. Roll your shoulders around, down and back. One more just like that. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften, pull the belly button in, round and roll up to standing. Roll the shoulders around, down and back. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, we fold. You can bend the knees or keep them straight, whichever feels good. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften. Now from here, we're going to step the right foot back. So you can always use your block as a little support system to help keep you lifted and grounded. And then as you step that foot back into a lunge, you can bring that block in to help keep you lifted up, or move it out of the way and sink a little bit deeper. So you're going to find a shape that feels nice to you here. Just pause for a moment, wiggle around, find something that you like. Always have the option to keep that block right at your center, right at your front, anything that offers you a little bit more support. Take one more good breath and explore. And then when you feel good and ready, if you like using your block, you're going to set it onto a lower setting so you can plant your hand onto that block and then step that front foot back to a plank. Now, with just one block, that's going to be a little uneven, so set it out of the way. Bring your knees down, lower onto your belly with a little bit of control. Inhale up to a low cobra. Exhale to lower down. Curl the toes under, push your way up to a tabletop position, and then exhale up to downward facing dog. Look forward, walk, step, or hop your feet up to the top of your mat. Careful of your blanket if it's in the center of your mat. Take your block and just put it right back up to the top of your mat. Bend your knees a lot, pull your belly button in, roll on up to standing. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften, and now we're going to step the left foot back. So again, you can take your block, use it as a little support system, or rearrange it in any way that you think is beneficial that would help you find the shape in a way that feels supportive to you. Nice. Take one more breath. And now we're going to step that front foot back to plank. So if you like, move your block out of the way or let it help you support. And then we step that right foot back, lower your knees down, lower with control onto your belly. Inhale up to a low cobra. Exhale to lower down. Push your way up to a tabletop. And then exhale up to downward facing dog. Look forward, walk, step, or hop your feet up to the top of your mat. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. Press firm into your feet. Inhale and sweep your arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center. Hands down at your sides. Nice. And now grab your yoga strap or your TheraBand, whatever you're playing with today. We're going to take it into our right hand, drop it down the back side. Then we're going to take the other hand, flip it so the palm faces outward, and then find those cow face arms. And then we're just going to walk our hands as close as your shoulders allow without everything having to round and roll forward. So find a good shape for you. Think about that top elbow lifting upward towards the ceiling. Soften your grip if you can, just a little bit to relax into that shape. And then see if you can walk your hands closer one little step. Nice. And then pause here for a second. Take a nice deep breath. Beautiful. From here, we're going to fold this over. So we're going to bend our knees, hinge from the waist, lean over, let that top elbow drop heavy towards the earth, and then straighten your legs just as much as feels comfortable. Take a nice deep breath. Nice. And then bend your knees a lot, lift from that top elbow, come up nice and slow and controlled, and then gently release everything, shrug out your shoulders, and we'll take it to the other side. So we're going to take the strap into the left hand, drop it down behind you, right palm faces out. We grab hold of that strap and then walk the hands together to a level that feels comfortable to you. So we want to make sure that your shoulders still feel good, safe, and comfortable, but maybe finding a nice gentle stretch. Once you feel like you're there, bend your knees a lot, hinge from your waist, lean over, let that top elbow drop towards the earth, straighten your legs just as much as feels good. Take a nice deep breath. Beautiful. Bend your knees, anchor into your feet, lift from that top elbow, come up nice and slow and controlled, and then release and give everything a good shrug. We'll stick with that strap for just a few extra minutes. So bringing it behind you now, both hands, palms facing backwards, and we'll start to move the arms a little bit away from the backside. Once you feel like you've got plenty of room for those arms to move pretty freely, we're going to step our feet to a nice wide distance. So think shoulder width distance apart, maybe even a little bit wider. Bend your knees a lot, start to hinge over, and let your arms just start to fall freely away from the backside of your body. And then straighten your legs only if that feels good. Head drops down only if that feels good. Take one more nice deep breath. Nice. Hands soften towards the low back, bend your knees a lot, lift from the crown of your head, come up nice and slow and controlled. Take a second to just shrug your shoulders out. We're going to use that strap one more time. If you've got a block in front of you, just set it off to the side so you don't kick it around or trip over it. But now we're going to see if we can just catch hold of the bottom of our right foot. And now we're just going to play around here with bending and straightening that leg, similar to what we did on the ground, but just to kind of feel how it feels to allow a little extra extension in your arms. So I'm putting a little tug on my strap so I can really get some feedback. I can feel the bottom of my foot and I'm in control of my leg. Take one more little bend and straighten here, and then release your foot from your strap, set your foot down, give everything a nice little bounce. And then we're going to try that on the other foot. So see if you can just catch hold of your other foot. And don't worry about how high you pick it up, but can you let the strap become an extension of your arms? Put a little bit of a tug on your strap or your TheraBand, and then find that nice bend and straighten. And it doesn't need to be extreme. We just want to get a sense of our balance, get a sense of the back of that leg that you're working through. One more bend and straighten. Nice, and then gently release your foot. Set it down, shake out your hips, set your strap off to the side, find yourself to the top of your mat. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale and fold down. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. And now here, just so that you can see, I'm going to show you with 2 blocks. If you had 2 blocks, you can set them at the low setting, plant your hands, and step back into a plank, but the floor comes up to meet you. It creates a little bit more space so you can easily step those legs back. So just know that if you had 2 blocks, that might be the way to go for you there. When you're ready, nice and easy, bring your knees down, lower down onto your belly. Take a second to wiggle out your tush, wiggle out your heels, shake everything out. 3 cobras here. Inhale, gently lift your heart up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, lower down, push your way up into a tabletop position, and then we'll take it into child's pose or extended child's pose. So here again, if you like, cushion your knees or put that blanket behind you and then take it into your child's pose position you like best. Knees wide or knees together, that's totally up to you. Lower your belly, lower your chest, lower your forehead. Take a nice deep breath. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, nice and slow, start to find your way up into a tabletop position. If your knees are wide, go ahead and walk them in just a little bit closer. Once you've got yourself all set up, curl your toes under, exhale up to a downward facing dog, send those sits bones up and back, press into your heels, look forward, walk, step or hop your feet up to the top of your mat. Find your forward fold. Inhale to a half forward fold. Keep all that length, bend your knees, push into your feet, inhale, arms up. Hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. Now it is 8:30, so if you only had 30 minutes, I hope the rest of your day is awesome. But if you're sticking around, away we go. Find your mountain pose. Hang out here for a second, anchor into your feet, lift up through the top of your head. Think about drawing those hip bones in towards each other so we feel that little bit of engagement in the low belly. Inhale, reach your arms up and look up. Exhale and fold down. Use your block if you like. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. We're going to step the right foot back. We're going to come into a warrior two. So step your foot to the back edge of your mat. Rotate your right foot, toes turn out slightly, and then that right hand is going to spin you up to find that new shape. Nice. And then once you're here, any arrangements that you need. So hips feel good. They're rotated out to the side of your mat. Legs feel nice and evenly distributed. Lift from the soles of your feet. Pull up strong from the legs, up through the side body, out through the fingertips. Gaze past your left hand. Take a nice big breath. Beautiful. Now we're going to take it into a triangle pose. So we're going to start by straightening the front leg and then check in here. So if you like, you're going to use your block. You'll play around with where position is best for you. I personally like my block in front of my foot, but some people like it behind their foot. So you're going to play around with what feels good to you there. Straighten the front leg. Think about popping that back hip out. Reach long through the fingertips and start to lean yourself out. And then if you're using your block, maybe you just place your hand right on the top edge of that block. Think about pulling those bottom ribs forward. Top ribs are rotating upward, reaching towards the ceiling, and then reach your right hand up, look towards the sky, take a nice deep breath. Beautiful. And then anchor into your feet, strong side body, lift yourself up, reverse your triangle, drop the back hand, reach the front hand up. Awesome. And then we're going to bend that front knee, spin the hands around and down, pivot on your back heel so you come into a lunge. Nice. Always have the option to use your block here, whichever hand feels best, or leave it off altogether. We're going to step that front foot back to a plank. Beautiful. And then bring your knees down, hug your elbows in, lower with control onto your belly. Inhale up to a cobra. Exhale up to down dog. Beautiful. Take the right leg up into three-legged dog, bend the knee, let the hip roll open. Nice. And then step that right foot up to the top of your mat, or just step it up as far as it will go. Help it along the rest of the way. Beautiful. And then step that left foot up to meet into your forward fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. Press firm into your feet. Inhale and sweep your arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center. Hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. Step the left foot back into our warrior two shape. So again here, if you like, you can always use those blocks to give a little bit of extra space so it makes it easier to step feet back and forward. Drop that back heel down, turn the toes out, spin your hands up. Find your warrior two shape first. Make sure your legs feel good. Hips are rotated out to the side. We draw energy up from the feet, up the legs, up the side body, out through the hands. Look past your right hand and take a nice big breath. Nice. And then straighten that front leg. And then if you like using your block, either you'll set it up behind your foot or in front of your foot, right at the ankle. And then when we straighten that front leg, we're going to pop the hips out, reach the arms long, lean out, and then maybe your hand finds that block. Think about pulling those bottom ribs forward, top ribs lifting up, left hand extends up, turn your head, gaze up towards the sky, take a nice deep breath. Beautiful. Anchor into your feet, nice and strong in the side body. Lift yourself on up. Left hand touches down, right hand reaches up. And then we'll spin it down to the ground, pivot on that back heel so you come into a lunge. Beautiful. And then if you're using 2 blocks, you can anchor into those blocks, hoist yourself up, step it back to a plank, bring your knees down, lower with control onto your belly. Beautiful. Inhale up to a cobra. Exhale up to down dog. Left leg up into 3-legged dog. Bend the knee and let the hip roll open. Nice. And then if you can, step that foot through to the top of your mat. And then again, here's a place where the blocks help. So you can always use those blocks. If you were back in that downward dog situation, left leg up into 3-legged dog, with those blocks, it creates a little bit of extra space for that knee to come through, and you can arrange yourself so that you can come up with a little extra support. So find your forward fold at the top end of your mat, hands to the ground, soften the back of your neck, take a nice big breath. Beautiful. Bend your knees a lot, pull your belly button in, round and roll on up to standing. Roll the shoulders down and back. Find your mountain pose. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale and fold. Hands can come to the block or hands can come to the floor wherever they land. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften. If you're using your blocks, let them be your anchor. Step your right foot back. Find your lunge. Heart forward, look forward, take a breath. Beautiful. Now we're going to drop that back knee down. So we're going to take it into a low lunge. So if you're using your blanket, it might feel good to just make sure that that knee is cushioned under your blanket. And now we're going to take a couple of half splits here. So start small and gentle, rocking the hips forward and back. Notice how that feels on the knee that's on the floor. If the blanket under your knee doesn't feel good, it might feel beneficial to move it out of the way. Cool. Now, the next time you come back to your half splits, you're going to hang out here, but you're going to walk your blocks in a little bit. So you're going to bring them a little bit closer, or one block, whatever the case may be. If you're just working with one block, bring it to the inside so that your right hand is on the block. And then think about pressing into that block. Here's where the blocks don't take you into a softer place, but for me, actually take me into a deeper stretch. So as you walk those blocks in closer, anchor into those blocks, create some space, lengthen through your spine, and then soften your elbows, lean your heart forward, keep your hands on that block, go just a little bit deeper, take one more breath. Beautiful, and then lift up, soften that front knee, rock forward into your lunge, curl the back toes under, pick the back knee up. Nice. Now here's another place. If you flipped your block into a low setting, right hand on that block, left hand reaches up. We've got more space here that we can lift and extend, find that twist, gaze up towards the ceiling, take a nice big breath. Beautiful. Left hand down, move blocks out of the way, or both blocks help support. Step that front foot back to a plank. Beautiful. Lower down onto your belly with control. Inhale up to a cobra. Exhale up to down dog. Lovely. Look forward, walk, step, or hop your feet up to the top of your mat. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. Press firm into your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Hands to heart center. Hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. Left leg back. We're taking it into our low lunge. So get yourself positioned, if you like, to cushion that knee on the ground, and then take a block or 2 blocks, whatever the case may be, or no blocks at all. But we're going to start to find that rock forward and back. Just some gentle half splits, finding a little space here. Nice. And then the next time you come to your half splits, sit back in it, and then think about walking those blocks in a little bit closer, or walking your hands in a little bit closer, but then press into your arms, create some length, lift the chest, lean out just a little bit longer, and then soften your nose towards your knee. And then you might feel it deeper in the back of the leg. If that's too much, soften up or bend your knee, whichever feels good. Beautiful. When you're ready, rock forward, curl the back toes under, pick that back knee up. Left hand is going to stay down on the ground. I'll rearrange my block to the low setting. Right hand reaches up to the sky. Beautiful. Bring that right hand down. Plant your hands on your blocks or rearrange yourself as needed. Step that front foot back to a plank. Lovely. Bring the knees down, lower with control onto your belly. Inhale up to a cobra. Exhale to lower down. Curl the toes under, up to downward facing dog. If you're using your blocks for downward facing dog, generally speaking, lowest setting is the nicest just because it gives you a nice space for your hands to spread. But any other arrangement of the block that feels good, make some space for you. Take a breath. Nice. And then when you're ready, look forward, walk, step, or hop your feet up to the top of your mat. Find a forward fold. Inhale to a half forward fold. Bend your knees, push into your feet. Inhale, arms up. As you come together at the top of your mat, hands together, interlace the fingers, pointers up to the ceiling. Take a gentle back bend, just lift your heart, and then bring it back to a neutral spine. Take one side bend over to the right. Come back to center. Take one side bend over to the left. Come back to center. Release your hands, float them down, and then grab your strap or your TheraBand, and we'll do just that again, but now we're going to take a wide grip rather than the interlaced fingers. So bring your arms up and overhead. Hands are about shoulder width distance. A little tight pull on your TheraBand or your strap. Lean over to the right. Come back to center. A little pull, lean over to the left. Come back to center, and then a little pull out on that strap. Lift your heart, take a gentle back bend, and then bring it all back up to neutral and float your arms down. Nice. Set your strap off to the side, somewhere where you'll be able to find it when we come down to the ground. Take a second, shake and shimmy everything out. Wiggle out your knees, shake out your arms, and then we're going to take a little bounce just to release anything that we may have come across when we're working with new tools and your brain starts cranking away. So we're just going to kind of let all that go. So start by just popping the heels. Find a little bounce here. Let your body shake. Let your breath go loose a little bit so you can feel that vibration in your breath. You can feel it in your skin. If it feels safe and comfortable, you can always close your eyes down, but just make sure that you have good balance and good control of that bounce if you opt to close your eyes. Take a few more good bounces. Maybe let your arms be just a little bit looser, knees a little bit looser. Let everything go. Beautiful. And then let it all come to stillness. Pause for a moment. Just take a nice gentle breath here. Awesome. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees, hinge at your waist, fold all the way down. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften, step both feet back to a plank. Beautiful. Bring your knees down into a tabletop position. Hands in line with the shoulders, knees in line with the hips. Take a little bop of the hips side to side, like you're trying to drop your hips down towards the floor. Check in here. Notice how that feels on your knees. So if your knees aren't cushioned and you think that it would be beneficial for them to be cushioned, step your knees onto your blanket. Make sure everything feels good. Beautiful. Take one more bop of those hips side to side. And then we're going to swing our legs around so that we can flip over onto our back side. For me, I'm going to move my blanket out of the way for now. And then we're going to just come down onto our back. Make sure that you have access to one of your blocks, and then make sure that your strap is somewhere handy that you can reach it. When you come on down to your back, bend your knees, walk your heels in a little closer to your bum, shake out your tail, snuggle in your shoulders, let everything have a moment to settle in. Make sure your clothes feel comfortable, hair feels like it's in the right place, and then give your body a moment to take a breath. Awesome. Now from here, bring your hands down alongside your hips, walk your heels in a little closer to your bum. We're going to take it up into a bridge. So on an inhale, start to lift your hips upward, and then think about letting your chest lift a second, snuggle your shoulders in, and then once you've got a good position for your shoulders, can you bring the bottom of your ribs down just a little bit? And then you'll feel that fire in your legs and in the backs of your legs. So if you can find that shape and that energy, so you're feeling like you're working in the legs rather than working in the upper body and the shoulders, pause there, take a breath. Cool, now we're gonna keep that butt lifted. Spread your toes just as wide as you can, anchor into your feet, and then feel a little press into the pinky edge of your foot so that we can lift the hips just a little bit higher, but we still wanna keep the sternum kind of pulling downward towards the floor. So we're not putting too much pressure in the neck or up in the tops of the shoulders. Legs are super strong. Take a nice deep breath. Nice slow breath out, hips are still lifted. And now with those toes spread, we're gonna lift the heels up, lift the tush just a little bit higher. Take a nice deep breath. And then as you exhale, you're gonna roll down through the spine. So think upper back, mid back, low back, hips touch down, and then the heels. Nice, inhale a nice big breath. Exhale, let everything go. Inhale back into that bridge, lift your hips up nice and high. Get yourself arranged, sternum softens slightly so we feel that fire in our legs. Once you feel like you've got it, lift the heels up. Take a nice deep breath. Slow breath out. Roll down nice and slow through the spine, upper back, middle back, low back, hips touch down, and then the heels. Nice. Pull both knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice little gentle squeeze, a little rock side to side. And now we're going to use our block with our bridge. So we're going to grab hold of a block, set your feet back down on the ground, lift your hips up. I personally like the medium setting. It works good for my proportions, but you might want to play around. Start with the low setting. So lift your tush up, slide that block or your book under your bum in the lowest setting. If you're not working with a prop, you're just going to lift your tush up. Same thing again. We're going to find that anchoring in the feet. Sternum is softening towards the earth. Legs are firing up. But if you're working with that block, settle your tush onto the block. So you want to make sure it's under your broad hip bones, nice and supported, not in the low back. There's not enough bones there to help support this. So we want to keep it under those nice, strong structures. And then maybe let your arms relax at your sides. Soften your shoulders down. Or if you're working without a block, spread your toes, press into the pinky edge of your foot. Nice. And the beautiful thing about the block here is that we can relax a little bit and let gravity do a little work for us. So think about that softening of the pelvic floor, inhaling and allowing space, and then exhaling, allow for a drawing in. Cool. And then if you're on the low setting of the block and you're just curious, what would it feel like to be on that secondary setting? Maybe think about pressing into the feet, lifting the hips up, flipping your block onto the medium setting, and then setting your butt back onto that block and see how that feels. Is that more supportive? Does it feel too high? You check in with what sense feels good to you. Give it a moment. And then if it doesn't feel right, set it back to that low setting. Or if it feels really good, stay right here. Take one more good breath. Nice. And then anchor into those feet. Lift your butt up away from that block. Pull it out from underneath you. And then we're going to lower with control. So upper back, middle back, low back, hips touch the ground. Pull both knees into your chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. Now from here, we're going to take it into supine twist. For the visual, I'm going to start with my left leg this time, but I'm going to send my right leg long, hold on to that left leg, and I'm going to take my block with me over and off to the side of my mat. Taking that left knee over to the right. If it feels good, you can always rest your knee on that block. It brings the floor up to meet you a little bit, and it might be a nice way to find that rotation in your spine without efforting so much. Think about dropping your left shoulder down towards the ground. Turn your head to the left, take a nice deep breath. Beautiful. When you're ready, nice and slow, pull the left knee into your chest, Bring the right knee into meet. So both knees into the chest, a little gentle squeeze. I'm going to take my block, put it over to the other side of my mat. Now I'm going to hold on to my right knee, send the left leg nice and long, and take supine twist to the other side. So bring that knee over and across the body. Right arm opens out nice and wide. And then I'm just going to tuck that block underneath my knee or my inner thigh, soften into that shape. Take a nice deep breath. Beautiful. When you're ready, bring that right knee back into your chest. Pull the left knee into meet. So both knees hug into the chest. And then if you have it available, grab your handy strap. And then we're just going to take hold of the right foot and set the left foot down. So we're going to keep the left knee bent for right now. We're going to floss the back of that leg again. So we're going to bend and straighten just to the point that feels comfortable to you. It should feel a little bit looser and a little bit gummier now. But if it doesn't, be tender, be gentle. No need to yank against yourself. Nice. And then once you feel like it's good and gummy, take both ends of your strap or your TheraBand into one hand. So same hand, same foot. My right hand's holding the ends of the strap. And then I'm going to start to take that leg out to the right, just as wide as feels comfortable. You're going to hit a point where your inner thighs are going to try to grip a little bit. So let them grip and then let them go past that point and soften again, keeping your shoulders nice and anchored on the ground. And then it might feel good to take that right foot and turn it out slightly. You might find a little bit more space for yourself to open up just a little bit more. Take one more breath. Beautiful. And then just a little gentle pull on that strap, help it bring it back to center, switch hands. So now left hand is going to hold both ends of the strap. Right arm is going to come out and we're going to take the leg only slightly across the midline, just to the point where you feel a little sensation on the side of the thigh and that IT band. So notice that sensation and then breathe into that space. Take a nice deep breath. Slow breath out. Awesome. Bring that leg back to center. And now we're going to turn the toes out. So we're going to externally rotate that foot, bend the knee, and then bring it across the left. So you find a figure 4 shape here. Then you'll release the strap. And now we're going to do hands free to start. So we're going to lift that left leg up and then start a little bit of a wobble. So think about like when you pull your knees into your chest and you rock side to side. Same thing here, but with a figure 4 shape. But be gentle and be mindful. Make sure your knee feels safe and your hip feels comfortable. Cool. Take one more little rock side to side. And then we're going to reach our hands through that little triangle of our legs, maybe grab the back of the thigh or the top of the shin, and then gently draw the legs in. Take one good breath. Beautiful. Nice and easy release. Unwind, step that right foot off the left, grab your strap, and we'll set that all up to the other side. So we're going to catch hold of the bottom of the left foot and then take a couple of bend and straightens here. Be gentle and mindful. We don't want to yank against the back of the leg, but we want to feel a little bit of a lengthening. Cool. And then from here, both ends of the strap into the left hand. So same hand, same foot. Right arm is going to open like an anchor. And we're going to start to take that left leg out to the left, just as wide as it feels comfortable. You will feel a little gripping in that inner thigh because it really wants to control that movement. So work around that grip and then soften down just as far as you can. If it feels good to externally rotate the toes, turn them out, make a little bit more space for yourself, soften into that shape, take a nice big breath. Beautiful. Now with a little pull of the strap, bring your leg back to center and switch grips. So you're going to take hold of both ends now with the right hand, and we're only going to bring the leg slightly across the body, just to the point where you feel sensation in the side of that left thigh where your IT band is. Once you feel sensation, hang out there, breathe into that space. Nice. And then bring that leg back to center. We're going to externally rotate the toes. So turn the toes out and then bend the knee, bring it across the right foot, and then release your strap or your TheraBand from your foot. Nice. So once you've got your figure 4 set up, we're going to lift the leg up and then hands free if you can, find that nice little rock side to side. as if you were taking knees to chest and rocking side to side there. Just make sure that your knee feels okay and your hip feels comfortable. Beautiful. Take one more little rock side to side, and then we're going to reach through that little triangle of our legs, grab the back of the thigh or the top of the shin, draw it into your comfort level, take a breath. Beautiful. And then gently release. Unwind your feet, set everything down, pause just for a moment and notice. Notice how your hips feel, notice how your knees feel, notice how your arms feel, shoulders feel. And then ask yourself, where would be your best Shavasana? So maybe you'll take it into constructive rest and just let your knees collapse in towards each other. Maybe if you like, you could take your blanket, tuck it under your head, use it like a pillow, or you can take it underneath your knees, roll it up into a little configuration, and it creates a little bit of extra bend in your knees so you can soften your legs without too much effort. So if it feels like that's a nice way to go, can help support the low back. Not quite the same as constructive rest, but can be very gentle. So find a position that you like best. You could always take the blanket and just put it over your belly. It gives you that nice tucked in feeling. You could put it over you like a blanket. So anything that you like here. Get yourself nice and comfortable. Let your body settle in. And then once you feel like your body has settled in, become aware of the backs of your hands touching the floor. Let your hands soften and be heavy. Become aware of your heels touching the floor. And let your heels be soft and heavy. Become aware of the solidness of the floor beneath you, and then let your whole body sink and settle into that solidness. Soften your jaw. Soften your cheekbones. Soften your temples. Soften the space between your eyes. Start to bring your awareness back into your body. Invite some gentle movement into your fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Maybe gently turn your head side to side. Just invite some gentle movement back into your body. And then if it feels good, take a big good morning stretch like a yawn. Just stretch from fingers to toes and feel that nice full length of your body. Feel that nice little opening in the ribs, the opening in the armpits, stretching through the fingers, the reach through the toes. Take one more nice big breath here. And then in your own way, in your own time, find your way up to a comfortable seated position. So you might like to roll over onto one side or rock and roll up. And then you might like to take your blanket and tuck it back under your bum to offer a little extra cushion, a little extra nice softness for your seat. So find a position that feels good to you, a nice, tall, comfortable seat, whatever that means to you. Give yourself a moment to settle in and then just allow your eyes to close down if that feels good and just notice how your body feels. Nice. And then we're going to bring our palms together. We're going to fire up our palms and we're going to get them nice and good and hot. So create a whole bunch of friction and energy between those hands. And once you feel like they are really good and hot, we're going to take it down to the low belly. So we're just going to gently place the hands right on the low belly. Close your eyes down, take a nice big breath. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, bring your hands back together, fire up those palms, get them nice and good and hot. Once they feel good and hot, we're going to place them on the solar plexus. So above the belly button, but below the ribs. Place your hands right in that space, close your eyes down, take a nice deep breath. Beautiful. One more time, bring those hands together, fire up those palms, get them nice and good and hot. This time we're going to stack them on the heart. So one hand is going to come on top of the other. Once you feel like those hands are good and hot, place them over your heart, close your eyes down, take a nice deep breath. Beautiful. And then can you wrap your arms around and just give yourself a nice little hug? Grab your shoulders, give yourself a little squeeze. Notice the breath in the back side of the body. Notice the space between your shoulder blades. Can you soften your shoulders down, relax your jaw? Take one more good breath. Beautiful. And then bring your hands to heart center and Anjali Mudra. Bow your head to your heart. Breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and the time that you take to take care of yourself. Breathe in a little extra love and gratitude for your friends, for your family, for your pets. And then a whole bunch of extra love and gratitude for those that it's hardest to find that love and gratitude for. Gently lift up through the top of your head, gently open your eyes. I bow to you. Happy Tuesday.